Thank you for joining us. It was mixed fortunes for Nigeria in the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 recorded on Monday. While Lagos, which remains the epicenter of the epidemic in the country, recorded 0 cases out of 38 confirmed cases announced by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, Kano got the lion's share with 23. That figure was lower than 86 cases recorded on Sunday. There's growing concern about the spike in the figures in Kano. While many feel the lockdown of the northwest state came late, residents also ignored the stay-at-home order. Many have defied the lockdown order to even organize football competition tagged Corona Cup. Let's have a look at this match.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Dan Allah ku kalli yadda mutanenmu suka cika su gaba ɗaya ana lockdown ana killace kai coronavirus amma unguwar kurna yadda ake ta shan ƙwallon kafa ba ruwansu da corona ma ba su yadda da ita ba. Allah kawo mana sauki gaskiya jama'ar Kano akwai gyara mu gyara.
You need to subtitle that thing first.
The same, just look at the way our people filled this playing arena at a time when we are told to sit at home. And we concluded by saying the people of Kano need to do a rethink, they need to adjust. You know, it started when they said in Nadila, you know, it's usually said maybe when someone dies or something. So he views what has happened as a tragedy, that people will go and be playing a football competition and the place will be packed like that. He views it as a tragedy that the people at this time of social distancing and all that will go and be playing a football match. I thought this was an old tape because on social media you see all kinds of
unverified materials.
But what you have,
the guy running the commentary,
even a professor confirmed on NTA this morning that that thing actually happened in Kruna area of Kano. So in Kano, in some parts, you have compliance, substantial compliance, but in the city center, which is the most populated part of the city center, the ancient city center of Kano, people are just carrying on as if there's no coronavirus in town. So that is the point. And with this kind of nonchalance from the people of Kano, you can understand why the number of confirmed cases is rising, and if nothing is done, it could really get worse. It could really get worse. I think that the Ganduje administration should have ordered the lockdown at the time that the Kaduna state government did it. Well, sometimes in politics we want to be nice to people, we want people to like us, but at the end of the day, it serves no purpose. If at the end of the day now, this thing becomes a big problem in Kano, nobody will be able to control it because of the huge population and the way the houses are built kind of close-knit fashion. It's going to be terrible. Nobody will be able to handle it if it really goes viral in Kano.
Absolutely. Already, they're saying that people in some areas, people are just dropping dead. I read a report that even the undertakers are complaining that the number of people that they bury every day in Kano now, that's an indication of something. Most of this burial or most of these people might not have gone through the tests. But one thing that is instructive about that report said these were aged people. Maybe if eventually anybody had contacted the coronavirus and the way they are dying and everything, and as Lagos is the epicenter, I also fear for Kano because Kano too is densely populated.
Exactly. Concerning that report, they were saying it's not COVID related, but even at that,
You'll be shocked.
we still have to be concerned. Just like Lagos is with the huge population, Kano, you can see how the figures just from nowhere.
Yeah.
23, just like that, and Lagos is no confirmed case. So with this, it shows that the north, all eyes will now be on the north, going straight to the northern, especially Kano. When it comes to election, people say, let's wait for the figures that will be coming from the north. And this is the same thing that is happening. And from the video we just watched, is not something that everybody would have to, sit idly by. We need to begin to look at what will the governor do. Don't forget, there's also a report about 3 members of the task force testing positive, to COVID. And it shows that the thing is already in Kano and it's spreading. But we don't know how fast, the coronavirus has gone so far. So it means the governor has a lot of work to do. It's either he's going to shut down and begin quick contact tracing, and then detecting and making sure that everybody that is, found in any way to have been infected, they should isolate them. I also heard something this afternoon that some people who were even isolated, they still are, some family members are going there to go and visit. So if you're allowing people who are, getting treatment somewhere and isolated, to family members to go and visit those who are isolated, then it means that the thing will keep spreading and spreading. So the government, the Kano State government has a lot of work to do. Lockdown immediately, and then start contact tracing. And also,
The lockdown is on.
Like the lockdown is on. So now they need to do the Lagos, start the Lagos idea, which is bringing down the testing or sampling down to the grassroots. People will have to start, going to different isolation centers or sampling centers and begin to see, am I infected or not, so that they'll begin to isolate people one after the other.
Babajide, let's talk about that, the level of compliance, of this lockdown, and the traffic on the roads is supposed to be, they're supposed to be locked down. You have traffic on the 3rd mainland bridge, you have traffic in Abuja. And one thing we're looking at here is that it's as if as we are reaching home stretch for the lockdown, people are tired and implementation has been weakened. And there's prospect that people might be advised to spend more days at home, but people might not comply.
From what I see, if things continue this way, then the whole lockdown will collapse. There are far more vehicles on Lagos roads than we should have. And it says a lot about the quality of enforcement. I don't think the security agencies are doing enough in the area of enforcement, because if they were doing enough, you won't have all of those vehicles, on Lagos roads. People who ought not to be on the road should not be on the road. I mean, it's ridiculous to see vehicular traffic on 3rd mainland bridge. Where are they going? They are supposed to be in a lockdown. Why are they clogging that bridge? And yesterday on my way home, I passed through Oremeta in Ojodu, and all the drinking dens were active. Some of them even almost sitting on the road, drinking. People are behaving like there's no lockdown. The beer parlors are open. Why should people be drinking in public during the lockdown? You can drink within your house. If you are someone who cannot live without the inebriating stuff, drink within your house. But to go to beer parlors and then sit in a manner that even some of your tables are arranged so close to the road, it shows that you think that normalcy has returned. But in reality, normalcy has not returned. I know that the people are getting fed up gradually because people must fend for themselves and their families. And that's why I believe that if we do not step up enforcement, step up even the issuance of palliative measures to people, the distribution of palliative measures to people, this thing will get worse and we won't be happy.
As well, ultimately, we are looking at Nigeria extend the closure of the airports over the coronavirus pandemic. I think that's the way to go. We can't afford to open our airports, our airspace just yet. We're still battling it.
No, I think
we've not flattened the curve.
No, we still have a long way to go. Even some other countries that have even succeeded in flattening the curve, like Germany, they still believe that there are some places and some businesses that should not open. And they are also giving time that, okay, if we are going to even open at all, we still have to start making sure that people are treated. Don't forget, coronavirus has no vaccine. So they are just trying to test the little that they have, like the hydroxychloroquine that chloroquine that they are using and things like that. So all what they are using is not really, we can't say it's foolproof. But even though it's treating people, but we can't say that is the vaccine. So it will not be right for us to say we want to open our airspace for now. 2 weeks, fine. And don't forget, some people are also leaving the country. Yesterday, the UK actually evacuated some of their nationals. Tomorrow again, I think some will be leaving with some Irish. They will be leaving, So those are the ones, those who have,
go.
yes, they can go, if they want to. And that is
just as some Nigerians too have shown willingness to come back to their own country.
So those who want to go can go. But from the airport, there are strict rules and directives that they are following. The social distancing and then washing hands and all that. So if you are coming back, I'm very sure they will also want to quarantine some of those who are coming, and keep them somewhere, make sure that they don't import, this virus back into the system. So if you look at it, it's a welcome idea. Let's shut down, just like other states are also shutting down. Lagos is already on lockdown. We have to maintain that. Whether they would also extend by another 1 week, because if by today Lagos does not have confirmed case, it's going to be a blessing, So it means something positive is happening. So the government might begin to look at, okay, do we now, bring it down a bit in terms of lockdown? Do we allow people to go out on certain hours, or maybe cancel remove the lockdown entirely? But as it stands now, from the airport perspective, which is where the whole thing started from, lock it down for now. Don't allow the people to come via the airport, and so that we can be able to trace and manage the situation that we have at hand.
We're still talking about that enforcement, and we're told that the COVID-19 pass have been a kind of circulation, and they've started racketeering with it.
Oh, it's possible. It's possible, although I have no evidence of that, but I know it's possible. Nigerians always like to circumvent any directive of government. So it's possible that some people are already making money from this, but we all must realize that we are in a war. We are in a war, and in wartime, you don't feel the streets. You stay in your homes. If you have a bunker, you even hide in your bunker. But our people are treating this like it's not a big deal. Gombe never had any case, but yesterday they had 5. They started with 5. Nobody knows where they will end it. I know that it is tough on our people to remain indoors for this long. Even in America, some of the states are already getting tired. you know, and
It's just natural.
yes, some of the less heat states, like Ohio now. Ohio, they have
pushing
said
to
that
open
by May 1, they will relax the measures. Tennessee, they are saying by April 30, they will relax the stay-at-home order, you know, so they will not renew it. So that way, gradually, the economy can begin to experience a rebound in America, which is the new epicenter of the epidemic. So the same thing in India. The people are being told now that they can return to work. In some states in America, they are saying, okay, you can go to the gym, you can go for massage, you can go for pedicure, manicure, you know.
like life.
So this is the thing. Gradually, people are being allowed to return to their normal lives in some of those countries. But in our own case, we are just at the beginning of our experience. So we cannot do what they are doing in Tennessee or Ohio because we have just started. We don't even know where we'll end up. We are just praying and hoping that this thing will not get out of hand, because if it gets out of hand, we do not have a health system that can help us to tame it. Our health system is weak. The infrastructure is not there. A lot of our best hands, they've gone abroad to seek greener pasture. So we just want a situation in which we'll be able to tame this contagion the way the NCDC people and the Lagos State government especially are doing.
Okay, we have our friend Yao Sule, on the line. Many thanks for joining us, Sule.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Ayo.
Tell me what is happening in Kano, Sule. People are not taking this serious, and what is happening?
Well, actually, I will blame this on solely on the dose of the government. One, yes, agreed, the government has taken a proactive measures by establishing isolation centers and what have you. But in the area of sensitization and mobilization, actually that is where the government has failed. Why I said this is because this is a state that has an experience. You remember the issue of Pfizer. Remember the issue of polio. So Kano people already, they have this stigma. They already have this experience of similar pandemic. So they require adequate mobilization and sensitization. And religious and community leaders must be made to own the campaign. A situation whereby government is given directives on the closure of worship places. The chairman of the Council of Ulama is given a counter directive. That is to show you that truly there is no sensitization and people were not carried along. Government cannot rely on politicians. You need to sensitize people. A lot of people do not even believe in this disease in this area. And it's all due to lack of sensitization and mobilization. So religious and community leaders are very important. They are key in this kind of campaign. But yet, they were neglected. They were not part of the sensitization. So, one can say proactive measures are not only enough, but what did you do at this critical moment? At this critical moment, what are you doing? Who are the drivers of this campaign? A situation where you launch a state like Kano, you launch an appeal fund for this purpose, where we have so many billionaires. Only 300, a little over 300 million naira was realized. And even the 300 million naira was given by a single individual. That goes to tell you something is wrong somewhere.
So ultimately, Sule, because I said it earlier that Lagos is densely populated, that what is happening in Lagos, if care is not taken, might move to Kano, if you guys don't, if the government is not proactive enough.
Obviously, where you have large concentration of people, if this kind of disease gets there, definitely you will expect large number of people to get infected. More so, most people in this area do not even believe in the disease itself. So what do you do?
Okay, they don't believe that there's coronavirus.
Hello?
They don't believe that there's coronavirus. Sule.
A lot of people do not believe in it.
Wow.
A lot of people do not believe. That's why you can see a lot of people, they're going about their normal businesses. Things are going, when you go inside inner quarters, inside the city, things are going on.
That's why they can name a football competition Corona Cup.
Yeah. You can see, but you can see in Corona, because they said this is a period that they were locked up. Okay, let them organize a competition in the name of the lock-up period. They tagged it Corona. It's all lack of sensitization and mobilization.
You want to ask Sule?
No, I don't know what to call this really. About Sabongeri area, is it the same situation?
No, actually, if you go outside, areas that are not densely populated, meaning areas that are not really set inside the city, people are observing. But if you go down inside the city, because there, even the security cannot even access the areas. There, what you require is you make use of religious and community leaders to preach to people. Let's observe this social distancing. Let's observe these social distances. These are some of the things that can only cure this thing in Kano. Otherwise, I'm telling you, the situation will get worse.
Thank you, Sule. Azuko, we're told that Governor Zulu has directed a 14-day lockdown as Borno traces contacts following the first death recorded from this coronavirus.
I think it's necessary because...
And look at the way Borno too
Yes,
IDP
also with all the IDP camps there.
The
and
biggest,
it's also very, very densely populated too. So it shouldn't just take chances. We are talking about social distancing, talking about so many things.
It's like the whole population is now even concentrated in Maiduguri.
Because of insurgency. So the best thing is that lockdown, then for them to be able to trace or to do the contact tracing. I heard it's about 99 people that they are trying to get. So if they can do that, Borno will also be free from it completely. Because right now, with the way it's going, they have two confirmed cases with this death, So if they can do that, lockdown, make sure they do the contact tracing, and continue massive sensitization, just like Sule said. The North needs that sensitization more than ever. Because if it happens there,
that there's no coronavirus, that is just malaria fever.
Ayo, even in my side, it started like that until when people started saying that they are locking down everywhere. In Calabar that used to go, you can't go again. In Abia that used to go, you can just drive in, but they will tell you, hope you are not bringing this thing. And so the awareness, started like that. Because first they thought it was witchcraft. Until they announced the awareness, the governor started doing all he wanted to do, which is to sensitize people, make sure that people are aware on radio, on TV, and social media. And so by the time the Ganduje and the rest, the other governors, speak the language that people will understand, going to the mosques, the first thing in the morning, as they are doing the prayer,
the clerics,
that is the first thing. Social distancing, make sure you wash your hands. People will understand that, there's a pandemic, on the ground. So that people will not get infected. We are really, really afraid of Kano right now.
All right, I'll take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. It's still journalist standard. Please don't go away. Before staying with us, it's Journalist Hangouts. It's the third week now in FCT, Ogun, and Lagos, and we have just more week to go. From your own assessment, Lagos, for the first time, did not record any case. If we can do this consistently for 2-3 days, we'll say it's a welcome development. But because it was scary, when Lagos did 38 in just a day, day before yesterday, it became scary that, so we're expecting the evaluation to come out this night to know, if we have improvements or decrease in the number of people they might have discovered.
Well, you can actually have zero case on a given day and have 70 the next day.
Yes, exactly.
So that's the way
As it
this
happened
thing is.
when I was saying 30.
That's the way this thing is, and it can move so rapidly. If you imagine how it moved in America from like 85 to 85, or just 85 cases to 100,522 within less than 2 months. So it's not something to jubilate over. It may be a sign that we are getting it right in a way, but I think it's too early to jubilate. The next few days will show to us whether it is a trend. It's just, in my view, a one-off, and because it's a one-off, you can't see it as a trend. You can't see it as something that is telling us something. No, until the rate of new infections consistently goes down, that is when you can say you are at the peak. When it begins to go down, yes, it means you are at the peak, and then you can focus on the old cases and give them the right treatment so that they can be well and return to their normal lives. But just because we didn't have any confirmed case in a day, it's not a reason to jubilate.
Okay, now joining us is the head of FCT Task Force. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, a wonderful team.
We've been monitoring your activities from the FCT in trying to make sure people comply with the lockdown order given by the federal government. But from the pictures we've been seeing from city centers in Abuja or adjoining towns to Abuja, we discovered the influx of vehicular movement, and even, I know Lagos is not in your jurisdiction. Let's talk about Abuja now.
Yes, I think from my own position here, Abuja compliance is very, very, very heavy. It's very encouraging, because one thing I told persons here, the exemption list given by the president and commander-in-chief of the country is indeed a very wild one. We can't blame him, because he doesn't want us to fight corona and die of hunger. Now, let's look at the exemption list part by part. I told someone, take the media, for instance. TVC has large range of staffs in Abuja, and they are all doing well-paid firm. They all have their cars, and they are all at work. Take it to your sister stations. They all have cars, and they are all at work. Go to government stations, the NTA, the FRC, and the VON. These are offices in their thousands. Now, go off the media. Go to areas like the security agencies. They are also in their thousands. So when you see people pour out so heavily, and we have our men to filter them, we found that the exemption list is really very, very heavy. And the order given by the president that some who have nothing doing are advised to work from home, everyone says they have something doing at work. So that one is something very much from the city center. But when you judge it per percentage of vehicle on the street in Abuja, if you go to the area where TVC is, around the Sukoro district here, the vehicles have dropped by over 90%. But when you go towards the suburbs, you discover that it drops as you go in, some by 50, some by 70, some by 30. That's where the compliance is reduced here. But by and large, in some communities, someone just told me now about a community where people hardly stay in their room. I say, yes, there are shanties where people live in thatch houses. Their houses are made of cement bags. Some are made of zinc, very hot. And you can't force them to stay in. They come out to search for fresh air. But I believe the compliance level in Abuja, compared to what I am seeing in other states across, I will tell you that the compliance level here is very much that some people are expecting to see a curfew. And some of them, as I told them, some journalists today, they don't know what is the difference between a full-blown a curfew and an issue of a lockdown. Lockdown have exemptions of those who can go around on a special duty, while a full-blown curfew where nobody comes out is where you see the street completely empty. So many are asking me for a full empty street, and I ask the journalists back, thrown down the number of media men, military men, the people who are in the market, thrown everybody down. And but when you give all of these exemptions and you see them on the street, I told them, please don't blame us.
Now, let me ask you about the initial encounter you have with religious leaders, because I know the first Sunday, second Sunday, you were enforcing compliance across Abuja, especially in mosques and churches. I saw some interesting videos. Have you been able to achieve 100% compliance in terms of gathering congregation on Sundays and Fridays?
No, I have not been able to achieve that. Someone just called me now that there is a mosque I need to visit. I won't mention the place in Abuja. I hope to visit that mosque this evening at during the Maghrib prayer, just around before 7 o'clock, within that period here. One thing I will tell you, my brother, I have observed is, I will say it very boldly here, that I have observed one thing, that the custodian of divine and human laws largely are violators of law. They believe that because they are the ones enforcing law doesn't apply to them. Let me digress before I come back. Most of the persons who are violating the traffic rule here, who are carrying passengers in large number, are uniformed personnel. They are uniformed personnel who ordinarily are supposed to help us in enforcing the law, but we find most of them carrying passengers, and we have been arresting them. Now, when you go to the issue of the religious cycle, you try to talk to some clergy who are custodians of divine law, understanding the divine parameter for performance and measurement of righteousness. They themselves are violators of law, believing that they are like the Supreme Court, who are next to God and answerable to nobody. Last 2 Sundays, after we have gone around the whole area, we met an imam at Jumat Mosque in Abuja. He was holding prayer. We arrested him. Then last Sunday, we went out again. Somebody called us. We went to Kubwa. We met Pastor Danjuma, who told us that God gave him a 21-day fasting program, which we end tomorrow, so he will not stop anything until that day. We had to arrest him. We went, and in that particular area...
Was he gathering with his congregations?
Hello, they were telling me about the burial that held on Saturday. Why should I not go and arrest them? And I reminded the congregation that you ought to be above board. You ought to know that you are the light of the world, a city on a hill in conformity with Matthew chapter 5, from verses 13 downward. That they ought to know that James chapter 4, verse 17 says, to him that knoweth good and does not do good, to him is a sin. If people had gone for funeral and a pastor is basing that on his performance, that cannot stand. I told them that word. Then before we have also picked what I have observed, sir. When you arrest a clergy, what we don't see in those videos about the arrest of imam and pastor is that when you arrest them, the kind of people that come immediately to come and ask for their release are very prominent and influential people that they even have to fault you and ask you, why do you have to arrest? But the truth is that those who are custodians and implementers and what do you call it, enforcers of divine and human law, themselves must be keepers of the law. Caesar's wife must be above board. We are doing that here. I hope to go around to check on the mosque this evening. If the mosque is in session, we'll pick up the imam to add to the already arrested imam. If by on Sunday the pastor I have been told is meeting in one of the suburbs, we go there, we add him to the pastor and let the leagues of imam and ulamas and pastors and those know that they are supposed to be forced in obedience of the law, as Paul told the Roman church in Romans chapter 13, verses 1 and 2.
You want to talk to
Well, I think you have said it all. We just hope that our people will continue to enforce, obey these directives. I was not happy that in Abuja they created a window for people to go to market and all that. We can't have that at this time because everybody will go out. And that's why those roads were clogged with people who had no business putting their cars on Abuja road. So we wish you good luck.
But it's a very, can I say something, sir?
I know it's a difficult job, but we wish you good luck.
Can I add a point,
go ahead, sir.
Yes, I want to clarify something, and I want to tell people, I am a man who loves my profession. I'm a journalist and not a policeman. Okay. What runs in my blood is journalism. That's what I read in school. That's what I've been practicing. I'm not a policeman, although born and raised in the barracks. but I'm a journalist by profession, and I want to ask people to stop seeing me as a policeman. I'm only drafted in to do this enforcement, and I felt it must be done for God and for country, and also appeal to those in authority that we should all join hands. Let's not give people chance to point accusing finger at what we are doing. Let's do what is right and ensure that both citizens, the governed and the governors, are working in tandem with what I believe is appropriate.
I must say you are doing very well, at Mr. Atta Ikaru, head of FCT Task Force. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
Meanwhile, many people are of the view that the collapse of the COVID-19 lockdown is imminent due to hunger and poor enforcement. But some well-meaning Nigerians are intensifying efforts to provide palliative items to cushion effect of the lockdown on indigent people. Lawmakers like Senator Rochas Okorocha of Imo West, members of the Lagos House of Assembly, and some traditional rulers like Alakpomo of Akpomo in Osun State or Bakayode Afolabi have joined in these efforts. For Senator Rochas Okorocha, a former governor of Imo State, the time is now for political leaders to be committed to the welfare of the people. Today, we're still talking about Nigerians coming out, that this is a very crucial time. It is not the number of cars, it's not the number of Rolls Royce you have in your garage, it's not the number of Bentley you have in your garage at the end of the day that will speak for you when you are not there. That it is this time that the nation needs men of goodwill to come out and show magnanimity to the less privileged, to the ones that are hungry, that cannot afford just 2 square meals at this time, because 3 square meals is now a luxury in this part of the world.
Even for some of us, it's a luxury. The truth is, we've been on this for some time, and I have to commend some of our politicians, the lawmakers from Lagos, the chairman of Shomolu local government, Abdul Salau, alias Dula. They are doing well. They are doing well. They are beginning to do what we demanded of them.
Challenge them to do.
We demanded of them. Honorable Wale Raji, you know, who is the former PAMSEC in Lagos State.
Wale Raji is a member of the House of Representatives, representing
He distributed 5,000 naira to 1,000 indigent people. You know, what this means is that even when they are given rice, they now have a little money to prepare soup, that they will eat the rice with. People like Damola Kasumo of the Lagos House of Assembly, Keja constituency too, who is also the chairman of the House Committee on Lands, one of the youngest in that place. He has also jumped in to do what is right. And I'm happy with our new traditional ruler, the Alakpomo, that's Janet Folabi's husband. Yes. At least he too. These are the items provided by the Alakpomo.
That's the palace.
You know, so at least in that ancient town, people will be able to observe the lockdown because they know that there is something to eat. What imposes so much pressure on our people is they need to go out and find something to eat. You know. You have children at home, you are thinking, what will they eat? They are hungry. So there's so much pressure.
Is in Osun State.
It's in Osun State, you know. So you are asking, what will the children eat? Even if you can stay off food, how about the children? They will complain. So that's why we need to continue to appeal to these people. I heard that even the senator representing Lagos East, Pepe.
Okay.
Pepe.
Bayo
Shinowo also made available 30 million naira. 30 million. Yayi.
We've been told of his own philanthropic nature.
Yayi, the Chobi senator representing Lagos West, brought out 50 million. But what I don't, and I've told some of the people who are close to Yayi, I prefer this to be turned to foodstuff for our people.
Exactly. Yes.
Because when you bring out money, huge sums of money like this, party leaders will be the ones to get hold of it. At the end of the day,
if we're not
the majority of those who will get it will be people that they know. And they will be members of that party. And what we are talking, hunger does not know party affiliation. So convert this money to bags of rice, gallons of groundnut oil, so that our people can have something to eat. Because before you know it, even that money, people will say, what is going on?
So,
you know? So
it's a challenge to the likes of Chief Kayode Oduaro to tell Senator Yayi that thing should...
No, Senator Yayi himself, he does not need Oduaro to tell him. He's watching us. This is a program that people find hard to ignore. Even our detractors know that it's a program that is difficult to ignore. They are watching. They are watching. So they are the ones who need to take that decision. You can see what Okorocha has done now.
Yes.
And in Imo West.
Honorable Jide Jimoh sent some materials too, some pictures, and they will maybe by tomorrow.
If I were Lowo, Honorable Lowo, he had never called me. So he said, people don't know the problem that we face. That Olowo said he really wants to do a lot, but that banks need to open. There are some transactions that you cannot do now because they're not even opening. So let the banks open, even if it's just a window of 1 or 2 days in a week, so that those big transactions, like you want to buy 20 bags of rice, for example, 20 trailers of rice. That's not money that you're from ATM. So they need to really help. Rocha
Senator
Rocha Okorocha.
Owele Alayo Rocha Okorocha showing strength.
So we have to show compassion to our people, honestly.
The people of his constituency.
Imo West.
Imo West. Senatorial districts. This is lovely.
No, this is tremendous. This is a lot. This is a lot.
Something to emulate. That we have 109 senators, we have 360 House of Representatives members, if 409 in all.
From Borno State, I want to see the senators from Borno State.
If they can come out. This is massive.
This is massive.
This is massive.
When he wants to do
it,
he does it in a way. He likes to oppress. He's a showman.
He has been a philanthropist even before all his life. He became a governor.
So it's Rocha's Foundation. Orphans got education.
For free?
Yes, for free. Orphans. Many of them are today big people, successful in business, successful as bankers, successful as even public officials, because he gave them the opportunity to go to school for free. And even some of the African countries, there's a school where he puts orphans from different African countries. If many of our rich men can do this, the number of out-of-school children will reduce drastically. Because when you see, they will say 13.5 million. That is a projection that was done about 4 or 5 years ago. It should be higher now.
Exactly. This hunger has led to something else. Areas in Lagos and Ogun states, they are still complaining. Although I'm yet to see the 1 million boys, and I'm yet to see their pictures, but I see videos of people carrying cutlasses and everything. And I don't know, what's the feedback you can give us?
I think it's just a fear factor, because some people say, oh, it's happening. Okay, where did it happen? It happened in the other streets. You go to that other street. Where did it happen? Just like that. It keeps from one street to the other. By the time you start asking, they will tell you.
But people confronted them in Mushin. You can't deny that.
There are some
in Bagada here, they came out, they were confronted.
There are some areas, that those guys actually came to. But
if we talk like this, people will say, oh, meanwhile, the police have made arrests, more than 100 arrests. They can't deny police made arrests.
So
they will say we are this. When we give the impression that this is just a rumor, the police have made arrests, they admitted.
Yes, exactly.
Look at the ones who went to Isheri. Have you not seen the videos? Isheri. Small boys. Have you seen the videos from Isheri? Inside the police.
1 million boys.
Yes. That's what
I just feel that some people are just using that 1 million boys. That's like
criminals.
That is the latest that is happening. So
it's true
Bomo Jomo. Everybody was signing letters.
It's true that they cannot. So for me, even if all criminals adopt that name, let's give criminals the treatment that they deserve.
Definitely.
If people go to a street to attack people, we must acknowledge that it happened. The police theory that, did nothing happen in Agege, we went there, we didn't see it, is bullshit. People have been attacked in this town. People's shops have been attacked, and even the police made arrests and admitted that they were arrested boys, and we saw pictures of the people that they arrested. So this is the thing, our people need to be protected at this time. The videos that I saw from Mushin, people don't just pour onto the street like that. They saw those boys and they felt, you can't come to a place like this. They wanted to show them that, look, if you are 1 million, we are 300 million.
This is Mushin.
Yes, the people came out and they dealt with them. You need to see some videos, because there are videos that we can't even show on TV. You see videos of these boys being tortured.
But it's even wrong for them to have gone to Mushin to
a place like that.
How will you go to Mushin?
Mushin of all places.
1 million boys, are they not?
No.
You know, they say shoe get size.
No, you know,
the level of gangsterism in
Overskill, they keep monkey. You went to a place where
you have house to house, you have guns.
The boys there are worse than you.
I'm telling you.
The boys in Mushin are worse than you. You went there to take the battle to them.
I'm telling you.
Look at that, even a woman was among those that were arrested in the sherry. A woman. So the truth is, yes, they may not even go by that name, but some criminals are using this opportunity of the lockdown to break into people's shops, break into people's homes, and all that. And the people are taking the law into their hands by confronting them and giving them jungle justice. So the police have to be on top of their game. It's their duty to protect people. Ensure that our societies, our communities are well protected.
Like we are saying something about well-meaning Nigerians, politicians, they have to do more.
Yes.
So
keep telling them
they have to do
can't
more.
stop.
The palliative, we'll start calling them out, or we'll start calling names.
No, we know those of them who refuse to do.
And then our people should also appreciate.
When the time comes.
Our people should appreciate no matter how small it is.
Yeah.
For now.
Because I saw a video from Oro today. The 100
the food
that was organized by the Lagos State government.
It was so wrong for them to have
they
done
took
that.
it to Oworo, and the woman was chased out. Because Governor Sanwo-Olu said he wants to be feeding 100,000 people per day.
So they would have just taken it.
Have the sense of entitlement.
That is.
Say no, take your food away. They almost attacked the woman. Wow.
That's our people. It's part of the frustration.
Asuko James, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
BKO will do this again tomorrow, and that's our offering. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch Journalist Hangouts on our platforms showing on the screen. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Zubaku.